OLED gaming monitors are becoming more and more affordable. So I figured, why not unbox the Acer Predator X27U X1? It's one of, if not the most affordable QD-OLED gaming monitors on the market. Now, that comes with a few caveats. There are cheaper models out there, but they're all on sale. Whereas this, it's at the top already. It's only coming down from where it is at the juicy, juicy price of $599. That's right, you heard it here first. Well, probably not, you probably saw something online, but it's a 1440p, 240 hertz QD-OLED monitor, and right now it's upside down. So let me flip it over. It's gonna be fine.
No, what?
It's good. As for what comes in the box, we've got our C5 power cable, and this guy just slides right into our handy dandy power brick. Together at last. And then we've got an HDMI cable, probably 2.1. Yeah, it says 8K 60 on it. And then we've also got a DisplayPort cable. Press down, then pull. Hey, I've never seen instructions on how to actually take a DP cable out of a monitor, but that's what you do. You press down on the tab and then you pull it out. That's nifty. I've never seen that once in my life. Let's take a look at the stand. We've got the classic like V legs. I'm definitely becoming a bigger fan of just the solid square stand. I liked these at first because it meant that like up here is all empty, but I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. You end up with legs in the way and it's kind of annoying, but it's not too bad. They got like a big double column design here, so it's gonna be nice and sturdy. You just pop that in and screw it down.
Would you say you have a vendetta against V's?
I wouldn't. Don't do it like I did. There's instructions on the box. I highly recommend you just follow those instructions.
For like how to open it?
Yeah. Ooh, actually this is a really good opportunity to show you the I/O before I put the stand on. Being the bargain bin of monitors, not to say that's a bad thing, but there's a lot of frills that you don't get when you're saving money on your display. For example, we have 0 USB ports, so if you wanted to hook up anything else to this, that's just not happening. It's literally just a display. And we've got power, 2 HDMI ports, DisplayPort, and audio. But if a lot of you don't care about those extra features like extra USB ports or a more robust audio connection on your monitor, you can save some money. I've gotta say, I really do like how thin these panels are, but it's really funny how, you say, oh, it's so thin, and then you get this big control box. And then one thing I don't often see on gaming monitors is a little headphone holder. It just flips up like that. Look, it's even got a little headphone symbol for you, in case you were, a little confused. One other kind of oddity is this guy. It looks like it's for cable management. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know what else it would be used for, because I am kind of noticing that I don't think there's a pass-through anywhere for your cables. You're gonna have to just go out and then kind of wrap around and then go through. Take that as you will. I don't think it's the end of the world. And realistically, you can just put this thing on a monitor arm anyway. As for the stand itself, it's admittedly not the sturdiest one I've ever used. It is like a little wobbly and it feels slightly flimsy just at the very base. However, what do we have in terms of, okay. And then can we tilt? We can. Can it pivot? No, it can just do that like very minor pivot. And then let's check height adjustment. Wow, it's a monitor stand. But before I plug it in and try it, one thing I've got to complain about is Acer's naming schemes for their monitors, because you may have noticed that there are several Predator X27Us and they're all quite different. For example, there's an 899 model that is like 4K 240 hertz OLED, and you don't know which one is which. This one has the designation all the way over here on the version number. So it's an X27U, but then it's an X1 BM IIPHX, which is probably the longest monitor name I've ever seen in my entire life. Guys, don't name them all Predator X27U and then change it by like, this is the X1 or this is what, just change the names. I don't know, it's a really minor thing, but it's gonna confuse people. Someone's gonna go to the store and they're gonna buy the wrong thing. Oh, and that's not to mention that X27U is just kind of their yearly product rollout. So like, there's old X27Us. Do you know what they are? I don't. And you've got to check the stupid version number. Just put it on the box, but not in a sticker. Just like X27U X1, you have space. This could be, there's plenty of room here. Even if this monitor is affordable and like a decent value, I don't like that. Okay, now that rant's over, I can't wait to tell you guys about gaming on this monitor and what that's like, but also our sponsor.
Thanks to Motion Gray for sponsoring this video. A quality sit-to-stand desk can get up there in terms of price, but Motion Gray's Ergo 2 is one of the most affordable on the market, without skimping on features, and it supports over 170 pounds of weight, has height adjustment range from 28 to 46 inches, and even comes with cable clips, a cup holder, and a headphone hook. So use our link in the description to get an LMG exclusive 15% off Motion Gray's Ergo 2 desk. And that's on top of any promotion that might be active right now.
Okay, let's check out the OSD. We've got brightness set to 100, input is HDMI 2, mode user, and then we've also got a bunch of picture options as per usual. HDR, let's go set to off. No. HDR 1000 max. What else do we have? Color modes. Oh, color spaces. There's a lot of modes. That's actually nice how you can change between like SMPTE. That's not super common. We don't usually see a monitor offering you this many color modes, especially not something like SMPTE and EBU. Rec 709, HDR, sRGB, those are pretty typical. DCI as well. But yeah, that's kind of nice. Of course, we're in HDR mode, so like gamma and color temp and all that is kind of just grayed out. We can't change anything. We're also currently set to 60 Hertz, which I'll fix that in a moment. But one thing that's really cool that I'm always a fan of is we have speakers. So I'm gonna turn them, I'll go to 80. That's a pretty reasonable speaker volume. We haven't heard the bass or anything yet, but like just the ambiance, these are not bad. Okay, essentially zero bass, but I don't know if you were expecting that, and you probably shouldn't, because it's just a computer monitor speaker, but those were fine. Like I could game on those speakers totally okay. And then, hey, you want headphones, you plug them into the line out on the back, and then you're good to go. And of course, Windows looks bad, but that's just Windows. I promise you, when we look at some HDR content, this is definitely not the most color accurate display we have ever tested, not even close. However, I would just like to take a moment to tell you that the level of color accuracy we are reaching today is so good that this thing being bad, it's still leagues ahead of any monitor or TV you've probably looked at, as long as it's more than a year or two old. So even though the numbers I'm gonna tell you in a bit aren't crazy impressive, they're still like fine. They're totally, as long as you're not like a display nerd or some colorist, they're fine. And the thing is, this still looks really good. Like that green is probably off and that red is probably too red. It's kind of like you've got vivid mode on, but it's not even that bad. Like this is still really solid. Like unless I was testing color swatches, I would personally look at this monitor and be like, yeah, that looks pretty good. It might be a little oversaturated or the brightness might not be perfect in the right spots with the PQ EOTF curve and everything, but this is gonna kick the crap out of basically any other non-OLED or QD-OLED monitor you've looked at ever. Unless you've looked at some very expensive mastering monitors. Like I've seen this hotel in person and it looks probably like that. Like I don't know, I don't have it right in front of me, but yeah, that blue probably looks pretty close, if not close enough. You know, while display nerds and colorists are gonna chase that perfect number for a long time, gaming monitors looks so good now. As for text, yeah, there's gonna be a bit of fringing, and it could look slightly better because you're only getting about 110 PPI, but you're still getting like 110 PPI. So I think for the vast majority of you, this is gonna be totally fine.
This is crazy. This is making me want to upgrade my monitor. I have not felt like I needed to. But it's also like, it's not even, like you said, it's not even like a really good QD-OLED. It's just a QD-OLED.
I know, and it's only like 600 bucks. Like there are other monitors that will go on sale that'll be cheaper than this, but like if you can get this one on sale.
Think about that.
Think about that. But yeah, the reality is gaming monitors have just come so far in the past couple of years and prices have dropped. Like a monitor like this a couple years ago, well, more like 3 or 4 years ago now, I guess, would have been like a couple grand or something. Like it's wild how inexpensive they are these days. We're running at 240 Hertz. We are 60 FPS on our camera, and I've got to say it feels great. We did measure latency, and I think the lab measured like 0.4 milliseconds of additional display latency, which is pretty good. There is one kind of minor weird problem. We did also do latency testing at 120 hertz for all of you console gamers out here. And it does have more, significantly more, but it's still only, I think, a couple of milliseconds of latency over theoretical perfect. And when theoretical perfect is like 4 milliseconds, it's hardly noticeable. Like, I can't notice 2 milliseconds. Can you? I don't think so. I will say my only complaint so far is it does seem a tad overly bright or washed out, and I think that just has to do with our EOTF tracking. But man, it's still just really good. Overall, it's pretty solid. Like, it's definitely not the best monitor I've ever used, but it's also fairly inexpensive. I do have one final complaint, and it has to do with the SDR color accuracy. They claim that it's going to be under Delta E 2000 of 2 average, and we tested slightly over that. And then in the out of the box mode, we tested closer to like a 5 average, which is not incredible. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that typically any of these new OLED or QD-OLED monitors are going to be in the 1 to 2 Delta E 2000 range, and they're going to get a lot better values at the Delta E ITP measurements than average of 20. It's usually these days more like 5 to 10 is very good. But it's like, it's $599, and if you buy it used or on sale, it's going to be even cheaper than that. I just don't know how else to explain that.
Wait! As much as I might like the price on this Acer Predator monitor, LG has just announced their new tandem OLED stuff is finally coming to consumer monitors, and it's only gonna be $500, allegedly. That's coming out in just a few months, so if you thought this price was attractive, just wait. There's always better stuff on the horizon.
Gaming monitors these days, and I know that $600 is still a lot of money for a lot of people, and what I'm trying to say is that if you're stretching your budget a little bit, it might be worth it to stretch from 500 to 600 to get this guy, whereas you might not be able to afford to stretch from 500 to 700 or 800 to get one of the nicer QD-OLED models. And I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I think that this is a perfectly cromulent monitor that any gamer should be very happy to have. Thanks for watching Short Circuit. This is the Acer Predator X27U X1. It's a good monitor for the price, and if you want to check out any other videos, I recently unboxed the AW3425DW, which is the successor to my AW3423DW, which was the first QD-OLED monitor that we tried on either LTT or SC. Good monitor.